Hello there everybody, this is Tigitar here and welcome back to another episode of Tigaria. So although it may not have seemed like it, I have actually been gone for the last 3 weeks. I was on a trip with some of my family over in Wales. We were exploring castles and churches and all kinds of things over there. Had a super awesome time. But while I was gone, I was editing some of the videos that I had pre-recorded, as well as working here on Tigaria. So here, I'm just gonna go ahead and show off the progress that I've made over the last 3 weeks, which honestly isn't crazy much, but I'm pretty happy overall. So where we used to have these big trees here, they are no longer here, and also pretty much all the land here is taken out. I started over on the left here near this pyramid actually, and basically I just started blasting. So all the way over to this right-hand snowy mountain here, basically and this is pretty much the same distance away from the center as that pyramid on the left. And I did the same thing, just kind of blasted out a big angular hole here. And then that left the actual base kind of floating in the air up here. And so then I needed something to support it. And so I went with 4 large rock pillars, and I tried to make them look somewhat natural basalt, kind of. So here's the first one right here, and unfortunately it's nighttime, so it's actually pretty dark right now. Actually, you know what I should probably do is just sleep until morning. Alrighty, here we go. Now it's daytime. Now you can actually see what's going on here in the slime rain. So yeah, big sort of dark basalt pillar, sort of naturally jutting straight up from the ground here. And there's a few like small grassy ledges on. I thought it would be cool to just add some grass along the outside. And there are passageways at the bottom so that you can travel underneath through it. Although what I'm planning on is having a central lever somewhere that actuates all of these doors here. So you won't actually be able to go in here until you activate that switch from the middle somewhere. Once you go inside, you can actually explore around a little bit. And I tried to make it just look like lush green energy and like, I don't know, stuff growing from the greenery. So there's actually a switch in the pillar here that you can turn on, and it actually lights up all of the chlorophyte pockets with green gemspark blocks, and it also makes this waterfall glow green. Now, I actually didn't realize this, but if you have a waterfall flow over or through an actuated, or I mean, not through a gemspark block, it actually changes the color of the waterfall. You can see right here, this block is actually what's changing the waterfall color. I had no idea that you can do that, and not only does it change the color, but it actually makes it glow too. So that was like super cool to find out. And also it only happens when the block is actually turned on. So you can power and depower these blocks, right? So if they're depowered, the waterfall is actually normally blue. So that was something really cool that I discovered doing this. So you can activate the switch, and then you can see what the interior of the pillar looks like, and you can see it from the outside as well. Whereas while the switch is not on and all the chlorophyte is not glowing, then it just looks like a big dark pillar. So the central two are a lot shorter, you'll notice, because the base is a lot closer to the ground here. And I kind of did the interior very similarly. Again, there's a blue waterfall here that will turn green if you turn on the little switch here. And it makes a couple of these chlorophyte pockets start glowing. So it's kind of just meant to look like that's where the source of the energy is for the main part of the base up here. So you can like see where these trees are gathering the magical green energy from. And then one last pillar, one last short pillar here, and then we have the left-hand side pillar. So this one is actually different. It's not just a big, lush energy pocket. It is tried to be harvested by some ancient mining civilization or something. So we have this switch here that turns on the big mining unit in the bottom here, this big drill-looking thing. And basically, they moved in and tried to excavate all the resources. So they had this pillar has lost its energy mostly and doesn't have the luscious green anymore. So I tried to make it look like sort of an abandoned mining town kind of in here. This one took by far the longest, as you can probably guess, to do this. And I kind of, when I first built these pillars, I was trying to imagine what I should fill them in with. And I thought that maybe I could do like a little town or settlement inside of one. And so I started the idea, and then it sort of evolved into an abandoned mining town. But then as I finished this one, I didn't really want to just copy that same format for the other three. So I then decided to try to make these ones look like they were still lush and sort of alive, I guess, on the inside. That's basically the pillar summary. We have these large basalt pillars. And you know what I haven't mentioned at all is the composition of blocks that I've used. So in the pillars here, I've actually also used a custom stone texture for the main ground here. Maybe I'll start with that. So for the ground here, we have stone mixed in with gray painted living mahogany and a little bit of gray painted mudstone bricks, I believe that's some granite that's painted gray. And then there's also some sandstone painted gray that doesn't connect with the other textures. I guess actually maybe the granite doesn't either, but it kind of adds those lines in there. After that, I just threw in a little bit of grass along the top here in some little sections. The pillars themselves, I did after those, and decided on a black painted smooth marble for the most of the body. That's actually it's smooth marble and also black painted smooth sandstone that I basically did most of the blocks with. To add a little bit of texture and darker color is smooth granite blocks that's painted, I believe, actually gray. And then we have regular granite in here as well that's actually painted black. And that sort of creates a non-connected texture with some of the blocks, but not all of them. Anyway, that's kind of it's kind of a weird combination of blocks, but I think it actually turned out really cool. I like the color and the texture overall that it kind of gives it. It definitely looks like just a massive chunk of rock, which is kind of what I wanted. Then we can move on to the center section here. After I finished the pillars, I thought I tried to think about what to do sort of in the bottom here. So we didn't end up with much space here in the bottom center to build display cases or anything like that. So I thought maybe it would be time to place the crafting area. So that's what I've done here in the center. I'm planning on this being our main crafting area. These two semicircles here that I've made purple are basically going to be where all of our crafting stations are going to be located, I believe. And then right below that will be our storage room, which I have just most recently been working on, and I've just gotten sort of the layout outlined for how I think I want to organize the chests. So I think it should be pretty easy. Say if this is the crafting area, you can drop straight into the storage and start getting materials or blocks or whatever you need. So my plan is to have large columns or pillars that vertically break up the crafting room, and as well as sort of add some support for the ceiling in that. But between them, I'll have the chests organized. So basically, this is my sort of tentative preliminary design for the pillar. I've been sort of playing around with background wall plus actuated blocks in front. I haven't decided on anything yet, but I think I'll sort of work with this start and go from there. So I'll have rows of chests, and unfortunately I don't have any on me, but these platforms here are, I believe, 10 blocks between these torches here. So there's 5 chests will fit on this side, and then 5 chests on this side, and we can have basically as many shelves of those as we want. That'll leave 2 blocks in the middle. I can light it up with a candelabra, or we can put a sign or something else there. And then we can have lampposts on the side here to light up the chests and make sure everything's bright. These pillars are not going to have any platforms or solid blocks in them because I want to have quick vertical access if you want to drop down, because that's one of the flaws that I have noticed in my previous storage systems is there's no quick way to drop down because there's like all these platforms that you have to keep dropping through, and it makes it quite slow. So I'm hoping with these vertical pillars I'll be able to just fall down between them and get to where I want relatively quickly without needing to rely on the Rod of Discord to teleport downward, which I've done in the past. So that's my sort of plan for the chest layout. I'll just basically section it up between these large pillars, chest rows, and then I will have plenty of different little sections that I can organize based on building material, furniture, blocks, and then we have the accessories, tools, and armor that I'll probably place closer to the edges of these wings here, and then I'll have all the more important, or I guess the more commonly accessed blocks and materials close to the storage or close to the crafting area here in the center. So that's kind of the idea here. That's the progress that I have made. I'm looking forward to continuing filling out this storage room, because once I get that done, then it will make working on the rest of this base and the rest of this world a lot more straightforward. It's always nice to get the materials moved over relatively soon, which honestly, like, I've done a lot of building on this world already with no designated storage or crafting area, and I'm actually surprised at how easy it's been. So anyway, I think that pretty much wraps up the progress that I've made. I guess I could mention real quick the overall shape of the landscape now. You can definitely see where I've removed the ground from. Basically, from here we have space to build the branches out to the display sections. And one of the next things, well, after I finish the storage and crafting, will be to start on those and start organizing and laying out what different sections we want to include and how we want to basically space them out. With that, the song of the episode for Tigaria's update today is going to be She Drives Me Crazy by Fine Young Cannibals. A pretty popular song. I wouldn't be surprised if many of you are familiar with it. Check out the Discord if you're interested. There's a link down below. And other than that, I hope you guys have an outstanding rest of your day, and thank you so much for watching.